Hi. Earlier you said that this world financial crisis was like a good thing. And am I correct about you saying that? And could you sort of expound on that a
We
little
say,
more?
and we mean it in every sense of the word. We mean that when you get sick, it's a good thing. Because in your extreme sickness, you ask for extreme wellness. And you put something in your vibrational escrow, which, by the way, has to be there before there can be any follow-up actualization or real manifestation reality that follows it. So the fact that something went so wrong made you ask for something more right than you've ever asked for before. And the intensity, the proportion of what you ask for is direct and commensurate with the degree of the lack. In other words, that's that perfect balance of the universe. So when you really see something going wrong, you really ask for something in a stronger way. But before you can understand what we mean by it's a good thing, this financial crisis has set you up for such a better future experience, before you can accept that or even understand it, you first have to accept the premise that everything that ever will become an economy or a physical reality was first in this vibrational reality. It goes there first, where source actualizes around it before it. Where do you think your economy came from anyway? Have you been trucking in resources from other planets? A few hundred years ago, when you were trading furs and sticks and beads and digging up a little bit of gold, did someone come with a big spaceship and start dropping value into your economy? Or is your economy not born out of the individual desires that you conceive of in your interaction with one another? That's all economy is. Economy is energetic exchange. That's all it has ever been. It is energetic exchange. And that's why our friend is worried about people being fearful, because in their fear, they are contributing huge energy to the pile of abundance, but in their fear, they are depriving themselves of their share in the energetic exchange. You see? Mm-hmm. So yes, we did say that. This financial situation is causing more energetic exchange to move into your vibrational escrow than the last 100 years. Things speeded up rapidly. So many people focused simultaneously upon what is not wanted, causing an avalanche. If you could have seen it from our point of view, you would have seen an expansion of the universe that was comparable, not quite, to what you call the Big Bang. Huge energy just happened. Now the next question is, what are you going to do about it? You're going to join the ranks of the fearful and hold yourself apart from it? You're going to let the next generation and the next and the next? Are you going to hold yourself apart from receiving the resources that you helped give birth to? Or are you going to defy the odds and ignore the pundits and not face reality and get your piece of what's going on now? Reality doesn't mean diddly squat. Reality is only the bouncing off place. You've already bounced off. Are you going to be hung up on where you are or where you've been or upon where you're going? Because the laws of the universe are with you, you see. The laws of the universe will support you in whatever you decide. And you can feel in your gut what your decision in this moment is, what your decision in this moment is, what your decision in this moment is, what your decision in this moment is. It doesn't take very much getting into a place of just accepting that good things happen to you before you begin to allow them to happen in all kinds of ways, you see. There are too many of you with too many desires. Your platform is too balanced. There's too much energy. There's too much intentionality coming in. There's been too much contrast and asking for too much for anything to collapse. Things aren't getting worse. Things are consistently getting better. You can only temporarily pinch yourself off. When you croak, you'll be abundant. And you say, well, then I'll hardly need the money to pay the rent, will I? And we say, it's energetic anyway, you see. Stop counting it as money in your bank account and start counting it as emotion in your belly. Start counting it as vibrational alignment. Start spending the real stuff of the universe. Spend the thought, spend the clarity, spend the vibration. Come in alignment with the energy that creates worlds. This is energy that creates worlds that we're talking about. It's much, much bigger than what you call your economy. But when you let something like your economy or the behavior of your daughter or the behavior of your mate or any other thing be your excuse that you pinch yourself off from it, then your world gets very narrow and very petty and very worrisome. And you feel bad because you're depriving yourself of all of this grand stuff that you are really a vibrational match to, you see. Yeah. Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham. In Philadelphia, I thought Abraham revealed a preference for a president when they said that, and I knew them better than this, but they said that they would choose the happier of the two. And that they didn't really feel either one was quite happy, but...
Not that day.
But
and if you could get to know them, you would see that both of them have moments of alignment.
Okay.
And both of them have moments of not alignment. And some of them are aligned more consistently than others.
Well, a very interesting thing happened. I asked a lot of my friends, which one do you think is the happiest? And I thought it was obvious to me who was.
And they all disagreed.
That's right.
Because to them, the one that is happiest is the one who thinks more like them.
That's right. Aha. Okay. Oh, you are good.
Well, you can't have an experience other than through the lens of that which you are. And so when you evaluate the details of any situation, you have to take into account the premise that you are viewing it from. That's everything. When Esther first began interacting with us, she was so excited. Oh, Abraham, now I can tell who's lying, because you'll tell me who's telling the truth and who's lying. So she started watching daytime judges. Which one's telling the truth? And it was surprising to Esther when we said, a better question is, which of them is saying that which they believe to be? And it was so interesting that in so many cases, it was rare that someone was really telling it entirely different than what they believed. They thought they were explaining what happened because they could only see through the lens of their own experience. You cannot attract or create or even articulate very well outside the basis of your own beliefs.
Okay. Excellent. In this time where we make a decision, most of us, which way we go, left or right, Democrat or Republican. And I don't mean that in the sense of the presidency, but I mean in the sense of our own sense of freedom inside.
Oh, well, you made a very big and bold statement.
Yes, I do that occasionally.
Extremist that you are.
And
does that make you left or right? Let's see. Or are there extremists in any case?
What I have found is that it seems to be most, or if not the overwhelming majority, of those that appreciate this work in this consciousness tend to be a little bit on the left side.
Maybe, except that the left side really believes that if you cannot do it for yourself, then they should sweep in and do it for you.
That's
right.
The
left side is very oriented toward doing for you that which you really want to do for yourself.
Exactly.
We don't think that's a match.
I agree. I totally agree with that, which is very perplexing to me, because freedom-seeking beings, those that wish to be self-reliant, that would rather there not be some national system in place to take care of your needs, such as health, such as your banking, or your financing with your homes, or your homes themselves, that this represents a socialistic kind of thing going on that would make our founding fathers roll over in their graves.
All of them?
Well, the ones that I know.
Oh. You reached back into the grave and assigned them left or right?
No, I've assigned them the qualities of freedom and independence, and like the state of Texas. I love that symbol, that we're independent. We do not expect source to be our government.
You haven't seen the "Don't Mess with Texas" signs?
That's why I like it. because there is a strength there. There's an inner solid presence there of self-reliance that we are source.
And yet they lean right. How do you explain that?
See, I explain it because Texas is a red state. Texas is, for me, what would seem to be a more independent state, which to me seems, well, okay, maybe I'm giving away my presidential preferences, which I would plan never to do, but...
Not in this environment.
It just seems, I'm just curious why those that appreciate this work, that seem to be in the family of appreciator for who we are,
well, the thing
go in a way of that seems to me to be present in the place of dependence in some form or another.
The thing that's interesting about most people, whether they are in an environment like this or otherwise, is that most people still, even with all that we've said and all that you've extracted from us and all the books and recordings that we have offered, still, most people are still trying to control conditions in order to affect the way they feel. And so there is this constant, eternal seeming struggle or argument about, well, we should fix these conditions and that'll make us feel a little better, and we should fix these conditions and that'll make us feel a little better. And in the whole process, it has become so scrambled that almost no one knows who they are. We think that it is such an interesting thing that people would be rather ready to proclaim themselves Republican or Democrat, or left or right or conservative or liberal. But very few are ready to acknowledge aligned, not aligned, allowing, resistant, closing the gap, widening the gap.
Right.
People are, for the most part, still wanting to hold circumstances and events responsible for the way they feel.
Exactly.
Which renders the entire political process irrational. So what happens is, the reason that you don't hear us leaning left or right is because we lean aligned, is because we want everything that those people on the left want. We want it to be in their escrow, and we want them to line up with it. Everything that those people on the right want, we know it's in their escrow, and we want them to line up with it. And we know at the heart of everything that everyone wants is a desire for alignment. You did not come forth into this physical experience saying, I will convince all of those who are Republican to be Democrat, or all of those who are Democrat to become Republican, and then we'll have a better world. You did not even say, I will convince them that democracy is the only right way of government. You certainly did not say, I will convince them that this religion is the only right way of religion. What you said in every case is, we are diverse enough that in our differences we will give birth to balanced desires. And as individuals, when we line up with the desires, we will live happily ever after. Not one of you said, I need to coerce or convince one other to want as I want in order for me to live as I live. You are all casting your vibrational votes, and the votes that you cast in the ballot booth don't mean diddly squat. You are casting your votes vibrationally. The reason we don't worry about your nation or any other, we don't worry about your world, we don't worry about the evolution of what's coming, is because we've seen this perfectly balanced environment in which you are all mixing it up and asking, and we have full view of the beautiful world that your diverse requests have put into your future experience. And we know that this recycling process that you've got going on, old ornery ones will croak and new, less resistance will come in, and those like you here in this room will come more into alignment with who you are. It is our desire that you no longer use the differences of someone else as your excuse to deprive yourself of what life has caused you to ask for. And it is also our desire that you don't ask others to agree with you that what you are asking for is right before you come into vibrational alignment with it. All day here today, it has been our quest to assist you in acknowledging the perfection of your step one experience. And we want to say to you, you could not have an effective, life-giving, eternity-promising step one experience if you were all of the same political persuasion. It is your difference that gives you your strength and causes you to ask. So here you are. You are asking. The rascals of your world have caused you to independently, because you can't be otherwise, ask for what you think is personal improvement for you.